Hello, welcome to English 3, Unit 2, Come as Soon as You Arrive, Part 1. This is Professor Neil with his TA, Yonghee.
Hello,
Hello.
This is TA Yonghee.
Hello, Yonghee. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Alright, let's get going. So, in this unit, we're going to start with the speaking, move on to some dialogue, and then a speaking section and a look at grammar. Let's start with the starter, which is looking at some of the vocabulary to do with adverbs. So match the adverbs with the pictures. That's the exercise here. The adverbs are down the bottom. You've got very, really, completely, beautifully, quickly, and heavily. These words are called adverbs. They are not verbs, but they add meaning to the sentence. And they often answer questions that start with how. So you can say, she writes well. That's okay, no problem. She writes well. But the person might ask, how does she write? She writes very well, which means her writing is good, very good. And with number 2, we'll ask a similar question to fill in the gap for the adverb. How hard did it rain? I could say how did it rain, but often we say how hard did it rain. Hard here doesn't mean difficult, doesn't mean tough. Hard is how much water is coming out of the clouds in the amount. So I will ask Yonghee the question and ask Yonghee to choose the appropriate adverb. Are you ready, Yonghee?
Yes.
How hard did it rain?
It rained heavily yesterday.
Very good. It rained heavily yesterday. What does heavily here mean, Yonghee?
The amount of rain was so much you feel the weight of heaviness.
Like cats and dogs.
Cats and dogs.
It was raining cats and dogs. Oh, Kitty doesn't like that.
Dogs. Oh, stay away from me.
Yeah. Okay, so number 3, we have the gap for the adverb. So they ran to the emergency room is a perfectly good sentence. However, you can make the sentence maybe a little more interesting by including the adverb. So by answering the question, how fast did they run to the emergency room? So I'm going to ask Yonghee the question. She will pick the adverb. How fast did they run?
There's synonym there. They ran quickly to the emergency, which is fast.
You could say they ran fast to the emergency room. I could have asked in the question, how quickly did they run? That's acceptable too. But it's unusual to answer the adverb with the same adverb. But it's always possible. Okay, so that was some examples for you. Some examples. Number 4.
Oh, ballerina.
Yes.
Ballerina.
That explains the ballerina in the opening of the video. How well do I dance? Yes, I'm a great dancer. But
do you dance?
Oh, I'm
Professor Neil?
amazing at dancing. The best.
What kind of dance do you do? I like dancing.
Yeah, I don't think my dancing has a name. Falling over. Erratic.
You are good at wobble dance.
Wobble dance, yes, wobble dance. So how well do I wobble dance?
My friends are good at wobbling.
Okay.
Dancing.
Yeah, I'm no BTS. All right, back to the thing. How well do I dance? Adverb. So Yonghee?
You dance beautifully, ballerina. Beautifully on stage.
But this time I'm not filling in the gaps. So listen and fill in your book at home. So for number 5 and number 6, I'm not giving you the question. So you have to think up the question and then fill in with the adverb. All right, and the questions, as you can see, have the word how in them. And they usually have the same verb in the question and the answer. So here, the questions tend to start with how, and then they include the same subject, and then the verb, write, writes. She write, she writes. It rain, it rained. They run, they ran. I dance, you dance. Building destroyed. And the verb is the be verb, so it's a bit more tricky. But yes, that's an exercise for you to do at home, because no point in me doing everything for you. For now, we're going to move on to the dialogue. Out with the starter, in with the dialogue. So the dialogue is talking about the bed. And so we have to get Kitty out of her bed. Right, into the dialogue. She's ready.
I'm ready.
So I'm going to talk through the conversation a bit first. So what is it about? What are they talking about? What are they talking about? So to ask Young-hee, any idea what they're talking about?
Totally frustrating. Instruction carefully.
So what are the instructions for? Oh, well,
this bed together.
Yes.
So
it's a bed. They're
bed.
constructing a bed. The instructions are about putting up a bed frame. A bed frame. The frame is the bit round the outside. That's the bed frame.
I remember my MP squad was struggling.
They have the instructions. They have the instructions, and the instructions are proving frustrating.
Instruction English is
really
complicated.
Yeah. So they're on page 8, and they're like,
ooh, lots of nails.
Yeah. What is going on?
Holes.
So here they are. They have these problems. Right, but they think good idea to take a break and figure it out.
Figure it out?
Yes, understand the problem. So they have a bed frame, they have instructions, they have a problem. So they need to take a break to figure it out and solve the problem.
Figure it out means understand?
Understand it,
Okay.
understand it. Fix it. Fix your understanding, fix your problem.
Find out.
Yes. So if you've ever been to IKEA, or in Korea, IKEA.
IKEA.
Yeah. Then you will have, and you've bought something from them and you've had to do this, you would have found it totally frustrating. DIY, do it yourself. It's very frustrating. First, before we delve into the grammar, we're going to read
and
this
he's
for you.
quiet. He's terrible with the...
Yeah, he loves to jump on the bed. Jump.
He's terrible with constructing anything.
Yeah, he prefers...
But he's good programmer.
Prefers to smash things than build things. So listen up. Young-hee and I are going to read the dialogue for you. So just listen, and then we will ask you some questions. Okay, so first, I will be Brett, and Young-hee, you are Rose. Are you ready?
Rose. Beautiful name.
Beautiful name. Are you ready? I can't put this bed together. It's totally frustrating.
You have to follow the instructions carefully.
I'm trying, but I can't understand them very clearly.
What page are you working on?
I'm on page 8, but our frame doesn't look like the one in the picture.
Usually these problems happen because you skipped a step.
I know, but I don't think I missed anything.
You should take a break. It'll be easier when you're not upset.
You're right. If I stop for a while, I'll figure this out. Thank you, Young-hee.
My pleasure.
So in the starter part, we were looking at adverbs. Adverbs. So in this dialogue, what is the first adverb?
Totally.
Totally, yes. Totally is the first adverb. So what is totally talking about?
Totally is giving additional feeling or status of frustrating.
What is frustrating?
Frustrating means things are not working properly, therefore I feel very hopeless or upset.
Yeah, upsetting. Something that's frustrating.
Angry.
You feel angry, upset.
Angry with sadness.
Yeah, so it's totally frustrating. So it here is putting this bed together. Putting this bed together is totally frustrating. So the it is putting this bed together is totally frustrating. So really upsetting, really difficult, really not happy is Brett.
100%. Totally 100% frustrating.
Okay, so what is the next adverb?
Carefully.
Carefully. So Rose recommends Brett follow the instructions carefully. So what should he do, Yonghee?
He has to read the instructions very, very thoroughly, and totally and slowly and detailed, every single bit, not missing a thing. Yeah. That's carefully.
Yes, carefully is slowly and not missing anything and looking for every detail. Details. It's always in the details. So what's the next adverb?
Next one is very and clearly. There are two adverbs.
Yes, there are two here. Because as we're going to discover, you cannot just say very, but you can say clearly. So Brett says, I'm trying, but I can't understand them being the instructions, very clearly. So what's the problem here, Yonghee?
Very clearly refers that things are very not clear. It's too difficult to understand. It referred to.
Yes.
Or instructions are very messy.
Messy or difficult.
Yeah.
So them is instructions. I can't understand the instructions very clearly. So the instructions. Here's the instructions, and Rose said he should follow them carefully. He says he's trying, but he can't understand them very clearly because they are very confusing for him, very difficult for him. He cannot understand. So Yonghee, what's the next adverb?
The sentence told by Rose usually
is there, yes. But other than so usually is the only one, but usually is not the type of adverb we're looking at here. So there are different types of adverbs. But before we look at the grammar section, different types of adverbs, we're going to read the dialogue one more time. So I'm going to read Brett. You at home, not Yonghee. You at home are going to read Rose. Okay, so we're going to read it, and you are going to read along with us. You at home. So are you ready? I hope so. I can't put this bed together. It's totally frustrating. I'm trying, but I can't understand them very clearly. I'm on page 8, but our frame doesn't look like the one in the picture. I know, but I don't think I missed anything. You're right. If I stop for a while, I'll figure this out. Okay, so one more reading. So Young-hee is going to read Rose, and you read Brett. Are you ready, Young-hee?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll move the mouse pointer underneath Brett reading. So here we go.
You have to follow the instructions carefully. What page are you working on? Usually, these problems happen because you skipped a step. You should take a break. It'll be easier when you're not upset.
Well done. I hope that was not too fast. I hope that was not too frustrating. I hope you read it carefully and you understood it clearly. Let's go on to the next section. No, come on. Oh, we just have to leave those behind. Alright, in which we're talking about the grammar. A very big, heavy grammar section. But, to make you feel happier, we are only looking at adverbs. We are not going to look at the adverbial clauses in this video. If you wish to study the adverbial clauses, I will let you read the book and study them for self-study. But we are only going to be looking at the adverbs in this class. So adverbs do modification. They do modification of verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and sentences. There are different types of adverbs. So the ones on the left cannot function easily by themselves. Alright, the ones on the right, they end in ly, and they usually require the verb in order to function. So I'll just read them for you. So these ones on the left under the lexical adverbs. I can now understand it. So now is your adverb. Understand is the verb. So as it says, is modifying the verb. Now modifies the verb understand. I can understand it now. Now is still modifying understand. I can clearly understand it. Clearly is modifying the verb understand. I can understand it clearly. Clearly again is modifying understand. So the verbs, adverbs can move around in sentences. Adverbs can move and still they are acting as modifiers. The film was very funny. Very modifies funny. The film was really funny. Really modifies funny. He is speaking too quietly. So here, too is an adverb. So it is modifying another adverb quietly. He is speaking extremely quietly, meaning very quietly. So extremely is an adverb modifying the adverb quietly. It's doubling down. Some adverbs, like the one usually in the dialogue, modify the whole sentence. Instead, we choose a indirect route, or luckily, we arrived on time. They are not modifying any single part, they're modifying the whole sentence. So that's adverbs that come in two parts. Young-hee, you have a question.
So the difference between lexical adverbs on the left column and derivational adverbs on the right column is in the form of adverbs, right? Lexical adverbs such as now, very, to, instead, they are all complete meaning in the shape of themselves only as adverb. However, the derivation adverb is having ly at the end of the word. So that means derivation adverbs are made out of adjective by adding ly.
Not always. Not always. But unfortunately, because of the depth, your answer is excellent. Like, really? Yes, Young-hee, that is an excellent answer, and you explain it very well.
So derivation means came out from different form of the word. So basically, clearly come from clear, really come from real, extremely come from extreme, luckily come from lucky. They all had ly.
Very good, very good. Well explained, yes. You do explain that perfectly, Young-hee. Your professor would be most proud.
Thank you. I just noticed that.
With that, following on from that excellent explanation, which is very timely and very well explained, and if you wish more details, you can ask Young-hee. We're going to look at some examples. So here, I'm going to show you a sentence. You have to tell me, is the sentence grammatically correct or incorrect? So it's just, you either say yes or no. Young-hee will add will occasionally add an explanation as to why it's yes or no.
Because I like grammar.
She loves the grammar.
This is wrong because there's no main verb after can, which is auxiliary verb.
No main verb. Can is not the main verb. So this one is not grammatically correct. Down with that one. All right, let's do another one.
This one is wrong because the verb was require adjective phrase, but the very is only adverb. We need adjective.
It's missing the adjective because of the be verb. It needs to complement.
Again, same reason as the previous sentence, really cannot be used by itself without adjective.
So not grammatically correct. Not grammatically correct. Alright, let's try another one.
This sentence is already complete before they adding very. So if they want to use very, they need again another adverb.
Could you say he is very speaking?
No, because speaking here is not adjective.
Good. Well explained. So, as you can see, adverbs have their rules, but
this sentence is correct.
Okay, but there's no adverb.
You can add. This is correct sentence.
Okay, so this is a key point. Sentences do not need adverbs. Adverbs can operate by themselves. Sentences can operate without them. So you do not. The sentence does not need the adverb. The adverbs add extra information that can be useful.
But it's not must-have item.
No.
This is correct. I can understand it too.
Yes, because as it said in the example, he is speaking too quietly. To is an adverb. To is an adverb. So you can say, I can understand it quietly. Right, so to is an adverb. That's
That
what...
one used as modify entire sentence.
Yes, it modifies the entire sentence in this case, and it can modify adverbs when it's used before an adverb. So that one is acceptable. Yay! And then we got, I can clearly it.
This one, after can, which is auxiliary verb, needs verb.
Yes, that was a noun. Right, there's no verb again. It's missing the verb. Right, we're getting close to the end now. We're almost at a break time, so I can clearly it. I can clearly see the break.
No, you need, Professor, you need the verb.
Missing the verb, yes. There's no verb. I can clearly see it, but not I clearly it. Missing the verb.
This is correct sentence.
Yes.
I think we did it.
We did, but we had two before.
Oh,
we had
okay.
two.
Right. This is correct too.
Correct sentence. You don't need the adverb. Actually, don't use too many adverbs.
But if you add like this sentence, I clearly understand it, gives the additional degree of understanding.
Yes, and so with the dialogue, Brett clearly did not understand the instructions. He needed to read them carefully.
I can now clearly understand the adverb.
Yes, so these are acceptable. These work.
And I understand clearly. It is inappropriate because it cannot be modified by clearly, or you can move clearly after it at the end of sentence,
As you
or
can see,
before the verb. Understand.
It is a noun phrase or pronoun, and as you can see, that is not listed here. So an adverb cannot modify it. Sorry.
That's correct. We
Modifies the sentence. That's acceptable. So have a think about those. Think hard. Alright? About adverbs. Adverbial clauses below, we're not doing those. Because as you can see, it's a bit too much to cover in a 25-minute introduction. So that is end of part 1. Alright, yes, a lot to cover. In part 2, we will try to go nicer on you. Thank you for joining us. We hope to see you in part 2. Bye.
Bye.